Thursday has come around once again, which means a brand new episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, and I think this one has my favourite line of the whole series. So far at least.
Live long and prosper. Don't you give me that sarcastic Vulcan salute!
Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 4 has aired this morning on CBS All Access and will soon come to CTV Sci-Fi and also the streaming service Crave. Now Episode 4 is written by Ann Kim and also directed by Barry J. Kelly. The premise of the fourth episode, titled Moist Vessel, the USS Cerritos, along with the USS Mercy, finds a broken generation ship with Genesis-like properties aboard, all whilst Ensign Tendi witnesses a spiritual ascension. Before we do warp in, if you are new around here, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. We'll be here every week reviewing brand new episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks as they air. Also, on Sundays at 9 PM BST, catch us live on YouTube as we discuss the new episodes with special guests and answer your questions. Looking forward to seeing you there. Spoiler warning, we'll of course be discussing the fourth episode in full detail, so be warned, there will be spoilers for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 1, Episode 4. You have been warned. Alright, it's warp time. Now in terms of a cold open this week, it sort of works, but instead we're treated with an intro of Ensign Mariner just yawning while Captain Freeman is explaining the primary storyline of the episode. We also see the appearance of another California-class starship, the USS Mercy, commanded by Captain Durango, a Tellarite, an Enterprise-style Tellarite. It's certainly been a while since we've seen them. The USS Mercy is another California-class starship, with blue stripes signifying it's a science specialist ship. As previously stated by Mike McCann, the creator of Star Trek Lower Decks, the California-class starship can be outfitted for either engineering, tactical, or science. Now Mercy is the name of a location in California, keeping with the theme of the California class. I wonder what their shuttles are called. Now following the Lower Decks intro, we're seeing Captain Freeman and Ensign Mariner arguing in the ship's ready room. This is almost like a typical parent and child argument, as it's kinda petty. The closing line absolutely got me. Don't you give me that sarcastic Vulcan salute. Honestly, it's my favourite line so far. It stood out super well in the trailer and works really well in the episode as well. If you've been coming along to our weekly live streams, you know I absolutely love quoting this line and really want to modify it to say some other stuff, but you can tune in on Sundays to see what I really think of that. More scenes from the trailer are shown to us throughout this episode, with the lower deckers being given their duty assignments on the ship. Boimler dances as he gets the cleaning of the conference room task, while Mariner is giving the worst tasks on the starship, such as lubing up the turbolifts and also removing the waste from the holodeck. This is all thanks to Commander Jack Ransom, who informs Captain Freeman that in order to get her problematic daughter to request a transfer, then she should give her the worst task on board the ship. This, as you can imagine, does not go down rather well, but Ransom does get a funny moment with the captain. Ensign Tendi is assigned to overseeing an ascension, which she remarks is similar to that of a Q or a traveller. References a species seen within the Star Trek franchise before they possess godlike abilities that could be achieved through ascension. That's a bit of a stretch, but they're kind of similar to what we perceive as an ascended being might be like anyway. While Ensign Boimler is off completing his task, he also gives the Vulcan salute, which according to Mariner, works when he does it. We're also treated to a compilation of Mariner doing her super boring and disgusting task while on board the Cerritos, even if Lieutenant Shax almost kills her while using her turbolift while she's cleaning, or should I say lubing it up. She does have this quite funny ensign at work sign, like on the turbolift, but he just rips it down and doesn't care anyway. Another scene we also see from the trailer. The whole dynamic of this episode is a similar storyline as we've seen before in the series. Captain Freeman and her relationship with her daughter, Ensign Mariner. Mariner's relishing in finding fun in these boring tasks, which is of course not impressing the captain, who wants her troublesome daughter transferred off the ship. Captain Freeman and Commander Ransom come up with an interesting plan, promoting Mariner so that she is involved in the things she hates, all the senior staff activities. To be honest, like myself, Ensign Boimler would find these things fun and is super jealous that Mariner has been promoted to lieutenant and given a shiny new uniform, as well as her own quarters. Though, as he later remarked when she's demoted, it was only for an hour. Kind of impressive if you ask me. What I do love is while Captain Freeman is talking about her plan, staring into the glass windows all good Starfleet captains do, in the reflection you can see Commander Ransom doing the Riker pose behind her. Typical. Ensign Tendi is watching the ascension, it's going badly when she accidentally upsets it. This is revealed to be a ruse as Lieutenant O'Connor's is secretly pretending to be that he's going to ascend, when actually he isn't. Or is he? The whole little side plot of the ascension and Ensign Tendi's involvement in it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world if you ask me. but it does work nevertheless as a good little side plot that complements the primary episode storyline of the two ships working together on towing home this generation ship that we saw in the intro. While Mariner's not enjoying her new lifestyle, she's being dragged around what she perceives as boring tasks. We're treated to what senior staff like is really like aboard the Cerritos. Captain Freeman is taking part in a talent show, which isn't the most exciting thing to write home about, while the crew are also playing executive poker, picture that in quotation marks, which is not that interesting for Mariner as you can imagine. You would think that this is almost working, as Mariner rolls off the bed so great with the lack of enthusiasm she has for her new life. There's actually some great animation of Mariner this episode and her movement as a whole. Really hats off to the animation team. The moment that really does get me and stand out for this episode is the cockiness of Captain Durango of the other ship aiding our hero ship of Lower Decks. In an attempt to look better and outsmart Captain Freeman, he moves the ship closer to the generation ship, which causes all hell to break loose when of course the ship starts leaking this type of matter, which causes artificial life to be created on both of the Federation starships through the use of terraforming. While everyone is running around wondering what to do in a crisis, we're seeing Ensign Mariner and Captain Freeman put their family differences aside, somewhat, and work together to get to environmental control to free the ship. Not only a mix of typical Star Trek moments, but also seeing character development for the two of them. This is actually the first episode in Star Trek Lower Decks where Mariner calls Captain Freeman mum, or is even willing to acknowledge their relationship. This is essentially a continuation of a revelation of their relationship from the first episode, Second Contact. It's a nice way to tie in that and keep the continuity of the series going so well. Ensign Tendi's mission is still going badly, as she drastically tries to find ways to help Lieutenant O'Connor's ascend, even finding out that Tamarians have a form of ascension. That's the aliens from the Next Generation episode, Darmok. Shaka when the walls fell. Yeah, it doesn't really fit, does it? Though it is revealed during the shipboard crisis that O'Connor is a bit of an asshole and lied about the ascension so he'd get his attention. According to him, it's hard to rise up within Starfleet. Maybe that's where all these dickhead Starfleet admirals came from in the Next Generation in Deep Space Nine. You know, the ones who are always being rude to our boy Jean-Luc Picard and the Cisco. Honestly, you know who I mean. Don't lie. Mariner showing that she knows what she's doing to Captain Freeman is great. Mother and daughter situation, as you can see, the captain's clearly impressed by this. You would be too if you was in her position. While yes, they're both acting immature during their journey to environmental control, you can see the relationship between them developing slightly at the same time, even if they're arguing over what type of pointy rock to use. Reaching environmental control, they're getting to work on saving a ship. Now you're probably wondering about Ensign Boimler at this moment in time and what he's planning to do to get promoted. He thinks if you act badly, the senior staff will like you more, i.e. taking after Mariner. Oh boy, is he wrong, and really chooses the wrong day to pour hot coffee on Commander Ransom, or while the ship is in crisis. It kind of is a funny standout moment and is light humour at the best. Back in engineering, which is currently flooding and having coal produced everywhere, Tendi blows a hole in the wall to free herself and the trapped Lieutenant O'Connor's. He actually offers to sacrifice himself in order for her to survive, as the terraforming is reversed by the joint efforts of Captain Freeman and Mariner. O'Connor's actually starts to ascend into the future he has dreamed of, though it's a little bit trippy to say the least, with him sort of burning up and seeing some sort of koala bear in space. Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of weird, and I would be just as freaked out if I was him at this moment. I mean, anyone would be. Captain Durango is luckily saved by Freeman and Mariner, as he and his crew are beamed aboard the generation ship just in time. But it's kind of funny as Freeman does remark on how she finds him annoying and boring multiple times throughout this episode alone, even referring to a past of him being boring for nearly 15 years. It's kind of fun if you ask me, as it's kind of like slagging off a co-worker, but it's not hard to believe when it comes to Tellarites, especially with how they acted in Star Trek Enterprise. The ending of the episode comes around with the USS Cerritos and the generation ship being seen at a Starfleet space dock. Captain Freeman is expecting a Federation admiral to join him, which he soon does, presenting both Freeman and Mariner with medals for their excellent bravery and service to Starfleet in saving the ship and completing the mission. Of course, in typical Star Trek Lower Decks style, this almost goes 100% to plan, but it doesn't. Mariner takes the piss out of the way the Admiral pronounces censors, which does not go down very well and leads her to once again get demoted back down to the rank of ensign, rejoining her friends in the lower decks of the starship. I do wonder if the improved relationship will somewhat stick with Mariner and her mother, Captain Freeman, but we'll need to wait and see until the next episode to see how that pans out. Though with her getting demoted, I'm not quite so sure, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Sharing some final thoughts on episode 4 of Lower Decks. Wow, this was a fast-paced episode it seemed, but really enjoyable at the same time. There were moments I laughed at, and moments I found generally interesting, as well as a few which weren't that interesting. What stuck out for me, as a good thing, was the pacing of the episode alone. While watching, I got really immersed in the episode, and when it was over, I felt like it had just started, because I was so ingrained in what I was watching. Typically, I find this a good thing, as I'm able to lose myself in the content I am consuming. Overall, this episode was really interesting and enjoyable at least. It fits with the series of Star Trek Lower Decks so far, and the main storyline was interesting, but I wasn't really fazed by the secondary storyline of Ensign Tendi trying to help this bloke ascending. Yes, it does complement the primary storyline, but it just didn't interest me that much. Sure, it all worked out in the end, but personally I didn't find it that interesting, but that's just me. Do let us know what you thought in the comment section below, as we're always interested in your thoughts on the latest episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. Make sure to get your feedback in down below in the comment section. Okay, so that's it for our review of episode 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Please share your thoughts with us on the second episode via the comment section below. We'll be back with our references and Easter eggs video later this week. But don't forget, this Sunday at 9 PM BST, we'll be live on YouTube with our weekly livestream. Tune in and I hope to see you there soon. If you're looking to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news and more, then be sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe, or join our community Discord server to chat with like-minded Trekkies about the shows you love. Alright, that's everything for today. Thanks for watching, I've been Captain Jack, and I'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends.